This is another sign of the times, an analysis and a commentary. Somehow, everything is connected, and everything is numbered. It's also called fate or destiny. Tim Tebow's roots. Tim Tebow arrives in New Jersey, where the Jets practice and play, as the world's most famous backup quarterback. It is a homecoming of sorts, centuries in the making, because Tebow appears to be the great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandson of a man from Hackensack. MetLife Stadium, home of the Jets and the Giants in East Rutherford, is about 10 miles from where immigrant Andreas Tebow settled down after landing from Europe in the late 1600s. One of his children was Peter, born in Hackensack and baptized there in 1696, records show. More than 300 years and 10 generations later, Tim Tebow brings the family name full circle, according to the amateur genealogist and Tebow's fourth cousin, once removed, Dean Enderlin. One characteristic in our family is a prominent nose, he said. Tim may think otherwise, but his distant cousins see it. We vote thumbs up. He's got the Tebow nose. It is unclear how much Tebow knows about his genealogy, while his own recent background is well chronicled. Born to Christian missionaries in the Philippines, raised in Florida, now a preacher in a championship quarterback's body, little has been examined about his deeper roots, but there is no doubt that early generations of Tebows settled in New Jersey, and Tim Tebow appears to be the latest link in a long chain of North Jersey arrivals. It's strange that his ancestors came right through that area where he's going to be playing, said Glenn Corbett, an author and historian. You could throw a pass from the Meadowlands and basically hit where his ancestors came from. The details come from Enderlin, a 50-year-old geologist in Calistoga, California. He has been tracing his own ancestry since he was a teenager, learning the hobby from his maternal grandmother. His paternal grandmother's maiden name was Tebow. When Tim Tebow became famous as a Heisman Trophy-winning quarterback at the University of Florida, Enderlin set off to determine whether they were related. Enderlin said that, like many Tebows in the country, he and Tim Tebow can be traced to Andreas Tebow, who sailed to the New World out of Belgium. Enderlin is unsure where Andreas lived, either Belgium or Holland, but he believes his family was Walloon, a French-speaking minority rooted in southern Belgium. Belgium was governed by the Catholic rulers of Spain and persecuted Protestants, forcing many to flee. Many went to the northern parts of the Netherlands. It was from their exile in Holland that they emigrated again. Tebow landed in New Amsterdam, later renamed New York, and settled sometime before 1686 amid what was then open farmland of North Jersey and fast-growing smatters of Dutch immigrants. One online history says that he purchased 261 acres between the Hackensack River and Sprout Brook, north as what is now Midland Avenue, near Paramus. In 1686, Tebow's descendants spread slowly. Peter Tebow, a great-grandson of Andreas Tebow, who was born in Paramus in 1755, later had a farm a few miles north, between what is now known as Allendale and Waldwick, likely along the road now known as the Franklin Turnpike. Despite the family's apparent wealth and growing size and geographic location in the middle of the Revolutionary War, there is little record demonstrating active involvement in the war with the British. The Tebows of Tim Tebow's lineage stayed in North Jersey until 1811, when Uriah Tebow moved his family to Elizabethtown, Ohio, near Cincinnati. Religion, apparently, runs in the family. The story goes that they went to Cincinnati which was just a few bars at the time, and they didn't like the looks of it. Enderlin said they were very religious folks. They saw Cincinnati as a den of iniquity, so they went to the small town of Elizabethtown. His family included a son named Peter. For several generations, Tebow's sons were named for grandfathers, who married Olive Hobart in 1829. Peter was a hotel keeper and farmer, and after a tornado wiped out a local Methodist Episcopal church in the 1860s, as part of the church's building committee, he donated $500 to the cause. Peter and Olive Tebow had 12 children, and that is where the lineages of Tim Tebow and Dean Enderlin diverge. Enderlin said, Tebow can be traced to James Tebow in a lineage that stuck around the Cincinnati area for several more generations. Tebow's paternal grandfather, Robert Ramsey Tebow, was born in Cincinnati in 1921 and died in Oregon, where Tebow's father, Bob, went to seminary school. Enderlin's lineage splinters through Harvey Tebow, a side of the family that moved to Kansas before spreading further, landing Enderlin in Northern California. But his football allegiance knows no geographical bounds. I go where Tim goes, said Enderlin, who has never met Tebow or his immediate family. Yep, Denver's out. Yes, somehow, this could be called fate or destiny. Again, everything is connected, and everything is numbered, in some kind of way. This, too, is another sign of the end of times as we know them, transition days, which is a time of extraordinary happenings, changes, and events. Because it's about what kind of world are we leaving to the future generations. Daniel, chapter 12. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which stands for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of troubles, such as never was since there was a nation even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. 2. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame, and everlasting contempt. 3. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness, as the stars forever and ever. 4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words, and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Yes, it's time for prophecy to be fulfilled, and all these are more signs. These are the times when the past, present, and future come together or collide into each other in some kind of way.